Hey guys, so I wanted to give you guys all an update on my fitness routines. So a lot of you guys, if you've been following me for a while, know that I was going to Alchemy for a long time, which is a local, I guess like CrossFit meets yoga place that I've been going to since April of last year. Before that, I guess I'll go back. So when I was in college, I did not exercise whatsoever. It was totally not something I ever did, and was something that I really struggled with my weight, and it was something that I just didn't really think was important. And it wasn't until after I moved back home from Los Angeles that I decided to start taking yoga classes with my mom. I had never taken a yoga class before. I had taken I did a few things in college, but it was mostly like DVDs. I'd never actually taken a class before, like a fitness class. And so then after that summer, I started working at Lifetime that fall, and so I got a free membership when I worked there, and I was there a lot because I was working there. And so I started getting into a lot more classes. I took some step classes. I took, my favorite was called TCX. It was just a really hard like HIIT class, and there was just a lot of really fun classes, but I kind of felt like I outgrew them, and a lot of them were definitely more aimed towards people in their 50s, and I was in my 20s, and I thought, okay, so after I left Lifetime, left working there, I ended up having another membership for another year, but then at the end of that year I decided to switch to ClassPass, which, if you haven't heard of ClassPass, it's an app where you can go to classes throughout the city, whatever city you're in, and you can get into classes, and you pay one monthly price, and then you get to go to a certain number of classes depending on your plan. I think for me, it was 10 classes a month. I'm trying to remember exactly, but I liked that program, but I also didn't, because it was a lot of traveling and it was a lot of trying new things, and I felt like I was never a regular anywhere, and so it was a lot of me driving around all over the cities, and a lot of the classes I realized I didn't enjoy. For example, I'm not a big fan of bar. I learned that very quickly. I'm also not a big fan of cycling, and so I really liked the ones that were more either yoga based, or the ones that were more high intensity, as well as the ones that were very much the circuit training. So during that time, I discovered Alchemy. I had been following them on social media for a while, and I loved their social media game. They were so good at it. But I realized that I really liked them of all the places that I had gone. So I decided that in April, after they decided to open up a location close to me in Edina, that I decided to switch to Alchemy. So I decided to start going to Alchemy in April of 2017, and so I started going there. I really liked it. I really did. So basically how the class works, it's 20 minutes of yoga at the front end, and then depending on what class, if you're on an A10, it is a 10-minute strength and core and cardio, and then if it's an A20, it's 20 minutes of strength and cardio, which there's not a lot of cardio, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about. So I was going there for a long time, and right off the bat, I decided to do this thing called the Alchemy 365 Challenge, which was basically clean eating for an entire month. It was basically like Whole30 on steroids. I had never done any diet in my life, so this was very, very hard. I did not enjoy this because I couldn't eat basically anything. I quit. I guess I started cheating about 3 weeks in, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. But I know it was just for those 30 days. It's not supposed to be something that's meant to be forever. But I realized very quickly that wasn't for me. But I got through it, and I kept going to Alchemy all throughout the rest of the year. And it wasn't until, I would say, October or November of this last year, I decided to check out Orangetheory. I had heard about Orangetheory from a friend, and I decided to check it out because I liked Alchemy, but I really, really felt like I wasn't losing weight, and I wasn't, I don't know, I guess for me, what I consider a good workout is when I feel like really tired afterwards. So more of the cardio part, which I think Alchemy works more on strength training, a lot of pull-ups, a lot of push-ups, a lot of stuff like that, a lot of jumps, burpees, that kind of thing. And when I went to Orangetheory, what I loved about it was the fact that I had not only a treadmill, which they did not have at Alchemy, but also this really cool, really awesome software that syncs to your heart rate monitor. And so I'm actually going to show that to you guys right now. So I actually have this gym bag that I use, and it's from Gaiam, which is I think a yoga brand. But what I love about this bag is that I can actually put my shoes in the front. So I actually keep a pair of Nikes in the front. And then the main thing that I bring with me to Orangetheory, including my water bottle, is my heart rate monitor, which I guess I could show you guys. So it says Orangetheory on there, and that is something that you have to have in order to be a member. If you're a guest for your first time, you can use one of their guest memberships. But with Orangetheory, they have these that basically go right under your chest, and you wear this throughout the whole class. What's really cool about it is you can see what your heart rate is throughout the entire class on the screen. You actually have your name put up there, and then also what your heart rate is. And basically the goal of Orangetheory is they want you to spend 12 minutes in the orange zone, which is very much a high cardio type of workout. Usually it's when you're on the treadmill, but it can be also when you're on the rowing machine. So basically what Orangetheory does is there's rowing, there's there's treadmills, and then there's the weights. So like the actual like hand weights that you can do. It's similar to Alchemy, so that part is more of the Alchemy. But what Alchemy doesn't have is the running and the rowing. So it's basically like a third of the time is in each spot. So it depends. You can pick which one you want to start with, but you spend about 20 minutes in each. And for me, the first time I did it, I was so out of shape. Even though I had been going to Alchemy for like 7-8 months, I still felt so out of shape. And I only spent about 1 minute in the orange zone with my heart rate. And after only about a month of doing classes, I'm at 8 minutes. So that's running and having my heart rate in the orange zone for 8 minutes, which the goal is 12. And a lot of people do over that, and so I think they're in really good shape, and they even get up to the red zone, which is zone 5. But for me, I've never been good at cardio, and that's why I think it challenges me, and running is definitely a challenge for me, even though my whole family were runners. Both my parents, my brother, all runners, but for me, I always struggled with running. It was an issue that I've had since elementary school. I was terrible at the mile. I just really, really struggled with running. And then I took it up again that summer that I started exercising in 2013, and I ran a 5K, and it was so terrible. I was so bad at running, even though I spent the entire summer training. I did lose a little bit of weight, but honestly, I don't think I was probably doing it right. I was doing the Couch to 5K app, but I wasn't having a heart rate monitor to see, what zone am I in. And now that I have that technology, it's a lot easier for me to know when I'm overstressing myself and when I realize, hey, I'm not stressing myself enough because I think I'm dying, but I'm actually not even in the right heart zone. So for me, it's pushed me so much further. And I've actually think that's the main reason it's working so well for me, is because I can actually see the actual results during the class. It's not like I find out after, or it's just a guess. You can see how many minutes you've been in the orange zone. And for me, as a not very competitive person, to be able to compete with myself in that is so awesome. So one thing I did want to mention, and I kind of forgot to talk about, is the fact that I recently went to a new chiropractor who my other chiropractor I go to on a regular basis told me about. And basically he's one of those people that's very intuitive and can tell what's wrong with you, like if you have any deficiencies or anything, any issues with food sensitivities, just by like touching your skin. And so when I went to him, he told me that I have a inability or like a deficiency in digesting protein, which was a shock to me because I always thought I had fiber issues, and like digestive issues, and it was because I couldn't process the proteins, which is, I think, a lot of the things behind why I had so much acne, why my hair was so greasy, why, I could never really lose weight or build muscle, was because I couldn't absorb the proteins in anything. And so for the last few weeks, I've actually been taking this medicine. Let's see, I have it right over here. It's called Inflammase, which is a dietary supplement. It helps with being able to digest protein. And so I've been using that, and I think that's honestly helped a lot because I feel like I'm actually building some muscles, which I've never really felt before. And so if you are, thinking that there's something wrong or there's something that you need to like figure out about yourself, if you're not losing weight or if you're not gaining the protein correctly, I'd recommend checking out a chiropractor and getting some reviews and looking to see if there's one that does that kind of thing where they can just basically tell what is wrong with you. I mean, not wrong with you, but like things that need help in your body. And I really, really recommend it. I am so glad that I went to him and that I now have this information. I mean, you can do testing, food testing as well, where they kind of put a bunch of foods on your skin and see, you know, which one you kind of react to. But I recommend going to someone who potentially might know this just by, you know, magic. I'm not quite sure how it works, but yeah, so that was a huge part about what's been happening to me lately and why I feel like I'm actually losing weight and why I feel like I'm actually not just losing weight but building muscle and actually becoming more toned. So that's really what I've never had before. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, I just wanted to share that part of it. So if you were considering a workout, you know, I love Alchemy, and I actually, when I left, I decided to buy a 20 class pack of classes so I can go, they don't expire, so I can go every once in a while. I went yesterday, and what I do miss about Alchemy is the stretching and the yoga, because they don't really do that on Orangetheory. That's the one thing I don't like about Orangetheory, is they don't really do any stretching at all. You just kind of start. But that is what I would recommend if you're, you know, getting started in your fitness journey. They're both great options, but for me, as someone who really needs that cardio in my life, I decided to switch and go to Orangetheory. But again, I'm still going to Alchemy, so it's kind of cheating the system a little bit. But yeah, so let me know if you have questions about Orangetheory. I really recommend it to a lot of my friends. I've had a few friends take a free class just to see it because I've told them about it, and it's awesome to see that people are taking their health and fitness seriously. The next thing that I always say is I'm terrible at eating, so that's something I'm working on continuously, is learning how to make my own meals and meal plan, and it's stuff that I'm working on. But yeah, so let me know if you have questions about Orangetheory. It's a really, really great location. There's a lot of locations all over the place. It's a nationwide company, and so hopefully they have one in your area. But that's kind of my review on that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to click subscribe below. I will be putting out new videos all the time because I have this awesome new backdrop, and I hope you guys enjoy.